Hello, YouTube family. Well, today is episode 5 of the shed build, and it is going to be a special day because we're not only going to get the roof trusses on, but I have my oldest son here to help me. Right now, I am on vacation. He is on vacation. We have one dead day between things that we're doing on vacation. And so he said, hey, Dad, how about if I just help you get these trusses up and fixed? And so we're going to be doing a number of things to do these trusses in a simple way with some cheats. So stay tuned, and you can see if how we're doing our trusses is a way that you can possibly do your trusses. So let's go ahead and head back to the build. All right, so you're gonna hear in the background from time to time some running and yelling. That's just feral grandchildren that are just running wild in the area, so you can just ignore them. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip the camera around and kind of talk about how we're gonna find out the birds' mouths for our rafters on these 2x4s. We have 20-foot 2x4s, and they're 20-foot because we're going to need quite a bit of overhang on the back side, because those will be supported by 2x6 and 4x4s in the ground on far edges. Remember, I'm gonna be creating something in order to store a lot of my larger implements outside underneath a roof line, but so they'll be out of the weather. What we're going to do is we're going to take these 2x4s and we are going to fasten them to the outside edge with our angle that we want, and then we're going to find our birds' mouths on the back and on the front, take those out, make the cuts, put it back up there, see if it's exactly what we want, and then we will use that 2x4 as a template. Now, we will have two 2x4s that are on each far end that are flush with these ends, and those back bird mouths will not be the same because we will not have a top plate like we normally would here because of how the two walls join up. So we'll have to do those just a little bit different. So again, my son and I are going to get these connected up to the outside, figure out how much of an overhang that we want on the top, and then we'll screw those in on the front and the back, find our angles, draw our lines, pull that down, make the cuts, and see how all of this works. So join us along for this experiment. Michael and I are lifting our truss and working to secure it to the outside of the front and back top plate. Now, we're using clamps, but if you're working by yourself and clamps seem to not be holding your truss, you can drive a screw in part of the way and use it as a pivot point while you lift the other end of the truss and get it exactly where you want it, and then you can go back and adjust the other end. Once we got the truss positioned where we wanted it, we simply traced the bird's mouth. This saved us from doing all those formulas and calculations that you can find on the internet. Besides, I'm just not really good at that good at math. Now, once the cuts were done, we put the truss up where it was going to go and made any necessary adjustments. Once we were happy with the truss, we used it as our template for all the others. So as you saw on the video, we lined our truss up with the about 1 foot overhang that we wanted. And because we have the luxury of building this raw, we could attach this to the side, find our bird mouth angle at the front. And then what I've done here is found also the bird mouth angle on the back. However, because on the two ends where the walls meet, we're not going to have a pure bird's mouth angle. That's going to go farther down. There will be just a little bit of a skip here because of the two walls not being perfectly the same height, but that's not a problem. But right now, what we're going to do is we found the up angle off the one wall. I just need to take my square and finish that, cut the rest of the way down here. We'll cut this out. We'll cut the other angle out down there. We'll put this up, see how well it fits on the first 16 on center inside. And if it fits perfect, this then will be our template for all the other inside trusses. And then what we'll do is we'll come back and do the same thing again for our outside trusses. And we'll probably do both of those individually. In other words, custom. We won't necessarily do the same template for both sides. So let's go ahead and get these cut, and then we'll get them up there and we'll see how things go. Up in the shed. I'll be there in a sec. Beautifully. Nice. I should have marked the front face of these things where 16 on center was instead of just on the top. Do I need to move the wall one way or another?
What do you mean?
To get it to fit?
No, I've got it on.
Okay. There's that. There's that.
Ah! Sorry.
It wasn't underneath it. And then I'll go do the back one. Okay. There's the back. So we went ahead and tested our master roof truss, and it's close enough for us. It's a shed. We're not going to be too picky. I have a tendency to be too picky. We went ahead and measured for our front and back face and got those cut. What we did is we put a bullet level on the top of our speed square, and then we went from the bottom edge up. Here, let me go ahead and just flip this around and show you if you've never seen it done before.
This particular angle isn't necessarily what we have here at our shed, but what you do is you take your level and you put it flush here on the top of your board. Then you put your bullet level on top of that. Now to figure out what the angle you want to cut is at, all you do is just lift your level up until it's center, and then you draw a line right down the front of your square here, and there you've got your cut for your front faceplate.
So the next part really isn't that interesting. I'll go ahead and put this up on the tripod, put it on fast forward, and we'll just get all of these marked and cut and get ready to put up on the top of the front and back plate. Like I've mentioned many times, we are not professionals. We do not have a degree in woodology or in construction. We are just at best amateurs trying to get things done, or as Wrangler Star would say, we are professional homeowners. So what we have come to understand is these wonderful hurricane straps that I got work well with a header. However, I don't have a header across the front. And so we're going to have to end up putting a header or a board that runs between the two 16-inch boards, and that way it'll fit. So let me give you a shot about what this looks like. So if you see, we attached the hurricane strip on the top left-hand side. However, in order to attach this one, we had nothing there. So it was meant to go against a header board. So we are now having to cut boards to fit between my two 16 on centers. Now, it's extra work, yes, but really not that big of a deal, because actually putting these boards in is going to provide a little bit more rigidity to the entire structure. So we're just going to go ahead, take the time, cut these boards to fit between all of our wall joists, or not joists, all of our wall studs, and then we'll come back in and we will tie all of these together. It's a little difficult to see, but we've got that header board run all the way across now. And so this should be able to grab our hurricane straps. I'm gonna go ahead, put this on time lapse, and I'm gonna be working on getting these hurricane straps put in while my son and his wife work on measuring the distance between the back studs and making header boards for there. All right, I know that was a lot of time lapse, and hopefully narrating through kind of helped. We just needed to get a lot of stuff done and get moving on it. But let me go ahead and flip the camera around and point to a number of things and then show you what we've done so far. As we stated earlier, we went ahead and put in face boards all the way down along the walls to give us a place to end up putting in our hurricane straps. We've put our joists, or I should say we've put in our roof joists here at 16 on center. And what we started to do, sorry about the sunlight here, gonna hit the sunlight in just a second, is put on our first, really can't see it from here, we put on our first purling. We got everything squared up and got it set at the very top. Then what we're going to do in the next video is we're going to take some jigs per se. We're gonna take some pre-cut boards so that I can then space my purlins coming across 24 on center, moving all the way down. And we'll also put a board in between to try to keep these 16 on center. So the trusses are the same distance all the way across. It's all nice and square. Let me go ahead and take you to the back of the shed and show you what's happening there. Here's our overhang. We've got about, I don't know, a 6 to 8 foot overhang. Now, smart people who are skilled would have put their 4x4 and their 2x6 across, and it would have all been set ready to receive this. I'm not that good. Again, I'm just a do-it-yourselfer, and not knowing exactly how tall these were going to be, because I am going to put them 2 feet into the ground, set them with concrete, and give them square with the back or the outside walls. I wanted to end up finding out how much space is here between the two. That way I would know how tall of 4x4s I would need. Now, I know it would be great if I just bought them long, cut them down, but I would prefer just to get 2. I might put a third, but I'm really thinking that putting 2 4x4s, putting a 2x6 header across, and then putting angles at the corners to support it. Again, not a lot of stuff going on here. It's not going to really have that giant of a snow load. If we get a lot of snow, I'll just get a snow rake, pull that stuff off. Not a big deal. What is going outside here underneath is all of my heavy equipment, including my mower, all of that stuff, that garbage that I got to get taken care of. Thanks for joining us on this episode. I hope it was an encouragement to you and you are learning at least something, a little bit of something, or at least learning from my mistakes. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button. And we hope to just grow our online community by having you share this on your social media page and just watching this community grow. Again, thanks for being with us today. You have a wonderful day.